Hi, this is Randy Randall of No Age and host of the podcast Hyphenate with Randy Randall. I want to welcome our newest sponsor of the show, DistroKid. DistroKid helps musicians get their music on all the major streaming platforms, and artists keep 100% of their royalties. Hyphenate listeners get 30% off at distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate. Again, that's distrokid.com/VIP/HYPHENATE. Go get your music streaming everywhere now. Hello, thank you for joining Hyphenate at halftime. That was way too much energy. Whoa, I have so much energy. Aaron Farley, how are you doing, sir?
Good, man. Nothing, very slow morning. Nothing's happening. No weather.
That's
no
exciting.
Tree branches. Nothing.
Yeah. Before we jumped on the mics, I was just telling Aaron I had a large eucalyptus tree branch fall on our house last night in the middle of the night, and I've been up for a few hours chopping down branches and sawing things and trying to get to the bottom of how big this thing is and how we're going to get it off the roof. So that's an exciting morning.
And you were up all night with a sick.
Oh, with also with a sick child. Yeah, so we were up for several hours in the middle of the night, and then went to bed, and then slept through the largest tree branch I've ever seen fall on top of our house, and didn't hear. Our neighbors called us this morning. They're like, "Is everybody okay?" And we're like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Look outside." I'm like, "Oh, geez," but we were so exhausted, so that kind of goes to the mind state. And then I was like, okay, well, let me get a cup of coffee, and then I'm going to get on the roof with a sawzall and start chopping branches here. But I think I might need just a half a cup of coffee real quick, and then I'll get to it. So that's how that's going. How was your Thanksgiving last week?
It was great. There were no travel issues.
Oh, that's good.
Definitely, everything was on time. Perfect.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Where did you go for Thanksgiving? Did you stay home or did you go somewhere?
Spokane.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that'll be easy. Are you doing the connector or the straight leg?
Connector through Denver. So hopefully the weather sticks around.
Denver like
stick around. Yeah. Nice and sunny.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be fun. Are you going out of Ontario or you got to come into LA?
No, going out of Ontario. So
amazing. Nice. That's great.
Yeah.
Tiny airports to tiny airports. Stayed here. Yep. We stayed here for Thanksgiving. That was last week and had a great time.
Perfect.
Yep. But yeah, so we're talking Toshi Kasai. Man, I was so stoked to have him on here and to get talking. I told the story of the in the intro, but I met him randomly at a park in our neighborhood. He was with his kids and I was with my kids, and I was like, I knew his face from Melvin's related things and posts and stuff. And I just kind of asked him, I was like, "Are you Toshi?" He's like, "Uh-huh." Yeah. I'm like, "Oh," and I was like, "I'm Randy," and we started talking. And it's so funny. His music studio. He lives like 10 minutes one direction. The studio is 10 minutes the other direction. So it was.
Oh wow!
It was fun.
So I didn't know that. I thought you guys had known each other for some reason. Just in my brain, I was like, it's Randy. Like Randy and Toshi know each other.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought that.
Well, this was maybe a couple of years ago. We met randomly. I bumped into him at a park at a kid's birthday.
Yeah.
But I remember Steven McDonald from the Melvins now. I was talking with him, and he was telling me that they practice and record at Toshi's studio in Sunland when they were doing the like live from the studio kind of sessions during the pandemic. Those like live shows they would do them at that studio there, and they had this great picture at the Sizzler right by our house. It was like one of the best tags ever in the world. Like the Sizzler's been out of business for several years now, and somebody put an extra ER, so it's the Sizzlerer.
I know, it's the best.
And so when I saw the Melvins standing out in front of the Sizzlerer right by our house, I was like, oh, they must be in the neighborhood somewhere.
Yeah, that's real close.
Yeah, but then I talked to Steve. He's like, oh yeah, they take that exit to get to Toshi's studio. So I was able to put it all together. But
I was trying to think. I've definitely met him a couple times in the past, just from I don't know, being at shows and going. I feel like I was trying to think. I'm like, I feel like I met him at like a 400 Blows show, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Or
Also another neighbor up here in this part of the woods.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so but I didn't know really anything about his story, so it was amazing to hear. I always think it's amazing, and I think it's maybe just because it's not really an American thing to just go, I'm going to move out of my country and go to America to see what that's like when you're like 19.
Oh my God.
It's like it's such a foreign thing to me. At least at that age, I can see now being older and being like, okay, that's a possibility. But I would have never thought like, you know what? I'm just going to move to Japan. I'm just going to, because I want to learn how to be a recording engineer. Or it's like, yeah, I just moved to LA. Have you been to LA? No. Know anything about? No, I've never been anywhere. At that point, I had never been anywhere.
Definitely inspiring story, right? I mean, just the
Oh yeah,
the gumption or the kind of the will to just be like, yeah, my life is going to be different from now on. Let's go see what happens.
yeah.
And he totally nailed it.
Yeah, like how long did it take you to get used to it? He's like about 2 hours. Took me about 2 hours. It didn't seem that different. I didn't know the language, but that was okay. Like, oh my God, I definitely don't have any of that. It would take me years to feel comfortable.
Oh, I know. Well, he's totally inspiring. I mean, I think he's definitely one of those people. I think he has an engineering sort of, mindset and a very kind of technical mindset. He was even before we set up the microphones. I learn by doing. If I don't have a thing hit me in the head 10 times, I forget what it is. So. Yeah. So I just set up some microphones. And he's like, "Oh, these are all the wrong microphones. You should have this microphone. You should be this way. You should be pointing that way. You should do this." I was like, "Yes."
Oh, really?
You're right. I was like, "Yeah."
What did he tell you? Well, did you instantly just go online and like, well, I guess I'm doing this wrong.
I need different microphones. Well, because I had like one nice broadcast microphone, and the other ones were like some type of condenser, maybe large diaphragm condenser. That sounds like words that microphones have been called. And those are not really designed for like interview broadcasting kind of things. Those are more like
interesting,
something else. I don't know. I thought it looked like the Howard Stern mic. That's why I was using it. Yeah.
You're like, it looks like it.
It looks like a cool microphone. I've seen people talking to these microphones. He's like, no. The better one would be this and this and this. And so anyway, I didn't even question it. I was like, yep, sounds good. Went on OfferUp and found the cheapest one I could find. Like, okay, I'll get one of those.
Oh, really?
That's what I'm using now. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, that does sound much better.
Shure SM7B. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've seen that referenced.
Yeah.
Multiple times. Maybe I don't let him see mine.
I know.
Did you get that 20 years ago on a Guitar Center sale for where you get 3 mics for $78? Yes, I did.
But the other thing I do have to say though, Toshi, is really it's that kind of the flexibility that a mind has, or that somebody with a really knowledgeable mind, they can make anything work. And even when I've been to a studio, it's not like he has this pristine, most expensive looking studio. It's a very much kind of, it's near other like, or it's near garages, where like people work on cars and do things.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like he took like one of those kind of things and turned it into a recording studio. And, but he's got all kinds of stuff. I think it's with that kind of mind where like, if you know everything and you know how things work, you can find something that's maybe relatively cheap, and then but you know exactly what it does, and it's the tool you need for the job. Yeah. So I think he was not on a high horse about it, or things did not need to be fancy. They just needed to be the right thing technically, which I can respect, and I get that. And that's whereas I fall into the prosumer thing of like, oh, it's expensive. I don't know, man. That's pretty expensive. It must be good. I paid all that money for it. I hear all the money coming out of that thing.
Right.
Who knows?
Well, and I thought that was, I mean, it's cool that I'm sure he wasn't telling you that you needed to buy a bunch of expensive stuff. It was just like the range of that microphone for a vocal that's close is the least efficient, or is less efficient than what you should have. Oops, did I lose you?
Oh, there we are.
Oh, there you're back. There you're back. Sorry, froze up a little bit. I know we have wind up here too.
Oh my God.
I'm crossing my fingers that the internet's not going to go out.
Yeah. Oh my God. I try to do that the dad trick where like when the kids are talking, you're like, I don't know what they're saying. Like, yes. Yep. Exactly. Yes. Awesome. Totally. Sounds good.
Yeah. Wow.
Whoa. Wow. Whoa. Hey.
Well, I mean, it makes sense too after talking to him that he would work with the Melvins, and that because, and also, is it Melvins or the Melvins?
Ooh, that's a good question. I
Because
can Google it.
because I feel like
I always put the in front of it.
I always do too, and then it was occurring to me that someone maybe once said, no, it's just Melvins, but I don't know if that's true or not.
We have melvins.net, which is their official website. And then according
It's
to
not the Melvins?
not the melvins.net, no, just
Okay.
melvins.net. And according to their Wikipedia page, which we know is never wrong,
No.
it says Melvins, sometimes the Melvins.
Okay, so it can be either.
So we get an official sometimes.
Is there a source for that sometimes?
No, it is not checked. But they did form in 1983, and that is checked.
Yeah, that's what's amazing. Yeah, they, just because it seems like with when he's talking and he's talking about experimenting and trying new things, and I mean, it really is, that's the perfect band, because I know Buzz, every time, they get to do a new record, there's always something that goes like, okay, we're going to do this record and we're only going to tour in towns we've never gone to before, or whatever. There's always like a thing that goes along with everything. I remember hearing someone who had recorded with them once, and for the whole album, they wanted to use different microphones that would normally be used for what they're recording. So it's like if they're recording the bass drum, they want to record the bass drum with a vocal mic. And if they're recording vocals, they wanted to record vocals with a guitar mic or whatever. And that was the whole kind of like mini theme for the album. And then I asked him, like, wow, how crazy did that sound? And he was like, it didn't sound really any different. Like, they were like, they were like surprised at how similar it sounded once everything got put in the mix and everything. But I love those. I love a band that's made like, what have they made? 30 records? I don't even know. 20?
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
And there's still, every record, there's still like some kind of creative, interesting thing that they do, or like some kind of theme, or some kind of, okay, what are we going to do this year? But
26, 27, 28, according to the wikipedia.com.
Wow.
I don't know.
I mean,
but yeah,
still.
no, I mean, constantly evolving, constantly challenging, themselves and the audience, I think, to go with it. But I've really loved having with the last or the latest lineup with Steven on bass has been a really fun, kind of joyous version of it, where it doesn't feel too morose. It feels actually pretty upbeat and poppy almost, I should say.
I haven't even have you seen them play in the last couple of years?
Yeah.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
See, I missed the last time they came through.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, Steven, I think, just has so much energy and is like really fun on stage. It kind of, I think, leans closer to like Kiss than like, I don't know, like Sludge.
Oh, that's fun. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I saw them in Portland in the late 90s with, what had it been, Joe?
Oh, yeah.
Bass?
Joe Preston.
I think he was, I feel like he was back in the, I don't remember. I've seen them with the 3 or 4 different lineups, but it's always good. The best, actually, I have one of my best show stories ever is with the Melvins, or with Melvins, the Melvins. It was right before I was moving here, so it was 2000, and they were playing in Portland, and they had my friend Jeff from college used to be their tour manager in the early 90s, during all that, when they were opening for Nirvana and all that stuff. So he had gotten hired back in the early 2000s and called. He's like, hey, we're coming through, you should come to the show. And they had just put out a 7-inch with Leif Garrett.
Oh,
remember
my God.
Leif Garrett, the 70s singer, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember with Leif Garrett when they did the Behind the Music with him? It's like the VH1 Behind the Music, because he had gotten in a car wreck. He had been like him and this other singer in the 70s were, on all sorts of pills and got drunk, got in a car wreck, and one of the other guys died. The
Oh my
other guy
God.
in the car died. And so there was this whole thing and there was this big VH1 behind the music of that whole story. Well, right after that came out, Buzz got the idea to cover Smells Like Teen Spirit with Leif Garrett singing.
Oh
And
my
they put
God.
out a 7-inch.
What year was that?
It must 2000. I don't know, 99,
Wow.
2000. But kind of as, as a joke, I guess, or whatever. Like, oh, we should call Leif Garrett and see if and he did it. And then he called them, or they called him, and they're like, oh, we should see if he wants to go on tour.
Oh my
They
God.
called him, and he's like, yep. And so he's like, yeah, come pick me up. And they go pick him up in LA. And he comes out to sing like Smells Like Teen Spirit, and maybe they did one other song with him live.
Oh, how
But
funny.
so they did a whole Melvin's show. The whole tour was the slow Melvins opening up for the fast Melvins.
Okay.
So the first half of the show was all heavy, really slow songs. And then they would go off, do a costume change, come back, and it would be all the fast, heavy songs for the second half. And then I don't remember if it was at the very end or somewhere in the middle that Leif Garrett would come out on stage and they would sing Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Sounds so fucked up.
Yeah, it was weird. And so the whole thing with that behind the music was that Leif Garrett was sober and blah, 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 blah. Well, during this tour, and I'm sure before that, he had, like, at one point I went outside and I'm like, oh, it's Leif Garrett chugging whiskey at outside of his car. Seems problematic. And he came out on stage just like hammered out of his mind.
This is Leif Garrett's lawyer calling
He's like,
you.
yeah, you need to stop talking.
Yeah.
Hammered out of his mind.
Oh,
and just the horrible, like, couldn't sing the song. It's like talking to the crowd. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. But
wow.
Leif Garrett did tell me that I was trying to think of whether I was going to sell my Subaru before I moved to LA, and he's like, yeah, man, no one drives Subarus in LA. So I sold it. He wasn't wrong.
On the good advice of Leif Garrett. Wow. That's insane. Where was the show?
Hold
was
on, can we pause?
Seattle? Sure.
Oh.
Yeah, pause.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries.
We can
cut
now
this short
make
if you
up a
want.
whole story that was Leif Garrett's publicist, and he had to stop the show.
Okay, and we're back. So we just got in touch by Leif Garrett's publicist with a cease and desist. Somehow they've been monitoring the airwaves, and the big Garrett Publicity Inc. has recommended that we say allegedly to all of these things. These are all alleged things that may have happened exactly the way Aaron has described them from his own memory of life, but they allegedly are being recalled from his memory.
Yeah.
And
allegedly there was whiskey in that bottle, but it could have been colored water.
allegedly he told you to sell your Subaru before moving to LA.
And allegedly I talked to someone afterwards, and they said that he made it on the tour, throughout the tour, all the way to the East Coast, and then was told them he didn't, he was like, didn't want to go on tour anymore. He was done. And allegedly he did the whole thing because he could get a free ride to New York. Allegedly.
Yeah.
And allegedly he told a lot of stories on the tour bus. So
I would imagine.
Not tour bus, in the van. They were like in like a 12-person van.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't
allegedly.
That sounds like a tough way to get an alleged free ride to New York City. I mean,
Sometimes you got to
it's
do
in the
what you got to do,
90s.
I guess. Yeah.
What was he in? I don't even know. He was like a 70s
He was
TV
like a
star, movie star?
70s teen. He was like a
I know the face.
teen star. Like it's Leif,
Yeah.
right? Leif Garrett.
Leif. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. He kind of looks
Yeah,
like Kurt Cobain. Sure.
he was like a big like I don't want to say Brady Bunch. What was the family that sang
Let's see.
that had
The
the
Osmonds.
yeah, the Osmonds. It was like that time period, I believe.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
It's
Teen
like
Idol.
Tiger Beat and all that kind of stuff.
Wow. What is he? Yeah. What a weird one. Yeah. I don't know. He was a child actor and then into movies and TVs and stuff. But yeah, that is
Yeah.
he made the film Skateboard.
Oh wow, I haven't seen that. Classic.
Not the skateboarder, but just skateboard.
Yeah, skateboard.
Yeah.
Is it bored like BORED? Like you're bored?
Like chairman of the board?
Yeah.
No, it was in The Outsiders, and then I don't know. Wow, that's a tough one, man. Seems like he just kind of burned out real quick. It's all those kinds of
probably a rough life. I don't know. He
right.
was nice when I was talking to him.
Oh, that's good.
That's
That's
good
just
guy
a tough
with
one.
some issues.
Because when you now as a parent, you can kind of see like kids like they don't know what the hell they're doing. They have ideas, but you just can't like. But imagine putting them to work. Be like, okay, go out there, go sit on that set for 12 hours, and make money.
I mean, after seeing how hard that any kind of entertainment life is on adults.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know. I don't know anyone who is in that life or is part of it or has been part of it that has just been like, yeah, man, it's great. It's awesome. I really never really had any problems, and everyone was really cool to me. Like nobody tried to like finagle money out of me or screw me over at any time, or it's nothing. I just everything's great, perfect. All my contracts were good. I never looked over anything and realized that someone else was making all my money.
People close to me that I trusted and felt like those bonds were unbreakable and could never be compromised by money or fame or power.
Never backstabbed or anything.
Yeah, I almost feel like it should be illegal to have kids. Like I don't need to see kids on TV. Like
just illegal to have kids in general.
No, like, maybe some nights I feel that way. No, no, just to have kids on TV. Like we really don't. You don't need to have children working. I mean, I don't know how do the child labor laws go out the window when it's like they're in front of a camera, which is even more exploitative and even more like these days. Like,
it's different if you're making really wealthy people a lot of money. Then those laws tend to be changed quite quick.
I see.
Yeah, it would be kind of funny though if you couldn't be an actor if you were under 18, and so you had to have adults playing children in all roles.
Right?
And then eventually, like, how long do you think that would take before that would seem normal? Like 10 years of that, and then eventually everyone would be like, wait, what do you mean? We used to have kids that acted?
Yeah. Like,
no,
but wasn't that terrible? Didn't that ruin their lives? And
what about Jimmy? Jimmy's the best 4-year-old out there. He's the best. He plays he's like the 4-year-old character actor, but he's just getting older and older.
Oh what God, a nightmare!
I feel a movie. I feel a movie in the works.
I mean, yeah, there should be something. Yeah, you have to be over 18 to be in any recorded videos. Like even
I was going to just say, even all the sudden, like really short actors are getting all the roles.
Yeah, that's like jockeys, like on horses.
Right. There's something for them to do in their off time too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but even now, with like the AI and actor strike, all that stuff coming out. But like you just have computer generated children. You know what I mean? Like you don't even really need to like torture these poor children on set all the time and have them exploited and worked to death. Like just make it they're all computer generated little people.
Yeah.
They have voice actors.
What all the child acting parents do though?
That's the thing, right? They would have to figure out a way to make a living, not exploiting their children, not having a family. Because that's what's fucked up. You look at like the Culkins, right? And it's like they had 7 kids or something, or I don't know, 9 kids, or even the River Phoenix and all their kids and siblings. And like they would just these irresponsible parents, would just put all the kids through this thing, and then hopefully one of them sticks, one of them gets it right.
Yeah. And then
Ugh.
if they do that, they're the ones that fund the rest of the family.
Mm-hmm.
They're the working. It's like the circus families.
Right. Well, yeah. Buster Keaton was a child actor, but he was a part of like the parents' vaudevillian show. Do you know this story?
Was he really?
The
No, I
Buster
didn't know
Keaton story.
this.
So the reason they called him Buster is they would literally throw him around like he had a handle. His uniform or his suit had a handle built into the back of it, and they would throw him into things, like into
Oh my
tables and
god.
chairs, and he'd break a table every night by being thrown into it by his
So
father
he was
on
busting
stage.
things.
Yeah, he was a buster, right? Yeah, so that was why they called him that.
Oh my
And
god.
that was his role in the act on vaudeville live on stage every night. He was being thrown around like a piece of luggage.
Oh,
And
that's
then
crazy.
and then he eventually went on to have his own kind of comedic stuntman sort
Yeah.
of character that he perfected, and insanity. But I mean, that's like literal child abuse. And then I think it evolves through the 60s and 70s and 80s into some kind of psychological, emotional, mental abuse.
Well, it's interesting though if that's like the family business
It seems
and
to
your
happen that
parents
way,
are going
right?
through it and
Yeah.
everything too. And it seems like there's a slight difference with that than if one of your parents just is like your manager and like throwing you in. I don't know though.
I don't know. Yeah.
Like
Well,
if
because
like
yeah.
if Joe Jackson of the Jackson family,
Oh,
if he was actually the lead singer, do you think it would have been different than him just being like the crazy the manager, the family manager?
I can't. I have no idea. I mean, it just sounds so. I mean, at some point, it's just so sad. You look
Yeah.
at it. But I know the Lawrence brothers, like Joey Lawrence and Matthew
Oh
Lawrence,
right.
all that. They have a podcast. They sort of talk about the child acting thing, and all the stuff they went through. It's
Wait,
just
who's Matthew Lawrence? I didn't know
he
Joey
was.
Lawrence had a.
He had two other brothers. He was he was the son, I think, in Miss Doubtfire. You remember
Oh
Mrs.
wow,
Doubtfire? He was the
Mrs.
little kid there.
Doubtfire.
Yeah, he just looked like a littler version of it. But if they
Oh,
all went on
that's
tour with
funny.
the
I didn't know.
Melvins, or with if they all
Yeah,
went on tour with Melvins after,
yeah,
but yeah. So get back to Toshi. So he really he's really done a lot. I loved all the stories of just like early days working at like different studios. There's definitely
yeah.
a lot of good like
With Foo
studio nerding out.
Fighters and yeah,
Tool. Did he talk
Tool
about
and all
Tool?
that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, and it does seem like that. Like even when, um, I mean, I remember going home and after being in LA for a little bit, and you realize how all of this stuff seems like, oh my god, it's LA, it's so big and whatever. But they're like, no, it's really like really small. Like you
Right.
really can come here and go, okay, I want to be a recording engineer and I know enough. And there's like 20 recording studios that you could go to and that where everybody kind of goes for the most part. And I think photo was the same way. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so you're going to come here and become a photo assistant. And you're like, okay, well, you just call people and then people live here and they need photo assistants. And then all of a sudden you're like flying around the world and like if you do a good job, you get hired by a lot of people and then you have crazy stories. And it kind of seems like that even with the recording stuff when it's like, yeah, it was 6 months of school and then you have to have an internship, but they have all these kind of contacts through the school and you just talk. Like the school was in the same neighborhood as all of the recording studios, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what he said?
I
Yeah.
think so.
North
Yeah,
Hollywood
I
ish,
have to imagine
Burbank.
all of that's changed. Yeah, Valley Village is always the like
Yeah.
studio town, but I imagine
Right.
so much of that's changed with just personal home studios and just everything. You know what I mean? There was like the studio infrastructure isn't what
Yeah.
it used to be 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah. Well, because I remember going in. Even what's the big studio that's I'm gonna
In
forget
Sound
now.
City,
It's right there on Rowena. No, Rowena,
oh,
like in
Sunset Sound. What's the one there?
no, like Glendale, not Glendale, Silver Lake. Anyway, whatever.
Oh,
It's just this
oh, the boat.
indescript built
No.
undescript building. No, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of in that area though, like on
Mm-hmm.
the way over onto that area. And then and a place that I'd walked by 1,000 times. And
Mm.
then one time a buddy of mine was like, "Oh, my friend works there. We should go up there." And you go in there like 7 huge studios and you know 20 platinum records a year were recorded there and whatever. And it just is a building next to a restaurant, So it's like there's so many of those places around that, or back then, because there was so much money. And you'd go in there and they're like, oh, yeah, Pearl Jam's over there. And this a rapper is over here. And this person. I'm like, wait, across the street from my house? It's strange. It's weird.
Why would they all be hanging out here?
Yeah. But those guys used to, like, there was so much money. I mean, this would have been like early-ish 2000s. There was still a lot of money for like big budgets and stuff.
Yeah.
And
because you could sell records. I think people paid money for music then. I think that's how that works. It's like when we stop paying money for music, then the kind of music that gets made changes, I think.
Yeah. I agree. But it was, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I love those stories where it sounds so easy in a way because the person just had the confidence to just go, yeah, I don't know. I had these ideas. I realized I loved recording. And so then I just went out and got an internship that turned into a job. And then that's still now what I do 20 years later. And I figured it out and I work with these. I mean, it's like the bands, what was he saying? Tweakbird and Melvins and Tool. And it's just like a very kind of specific
it's kind of
genre,
a heavier sort of sound, right?
But also like all the cool bands from that genre,
Totally.
Yeah, like the bands that are making like cool, interesting, weird. I guess interesting is the most, like there's so many bands that like to get to work with the ones that are actually the most interesting out of those genres says something about him.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, that they want to work with him, that there's something that he's doing. Oh my God. Yeah, it's funny looking through like I should have done the thing where I just quizzed him on each of these records. He worked with Dave Matthews Band in 2004.
That's amazing.
Engineer, editing, digital editing. That's funny. I feel like you just don't see as many of the credits on records anymore, right?
Well, I guess not, because you don't. Where are you going to see it in the little tiny like? You're not going to go down to the bottom of the Spotify link and click the credits anymore.
Do they even have that? Yeah, I wonder.
I don't know. Maybe. I'm assuming they do. But yeah, because before, you'd open up the inside of the record and then you could just go through the list.
Yeah. I remember tapes. You could unfold the tape thing.
Oh yeah.
How long those would be? I think I had like the Madonna Greatest Hits and just had every lyric written so small on there.
Like 10 fold out.
Yep. Longest record folds.
Yeah, where the tape, like the plastic tape case wouldn't even close back up because it would be
so packed.
Because you couldn't get the thing folded up in the right way, so it would be like a big lump on the one side of the tape.
You never could fold. Which way did it fold? Or they start they're perforated to folds and they just start to rip. You like have half of a tape thing strewn around.
Oh my God! I opened a box the other day and I had one of those like black carrying cases with the tape, with all the tapes.
Little briefcase with the soft one or the hard one.
Soft one.
Oh yeah,
with the little mini, and I just remember it. Just instantly, I was like, oh, I remember trying to put tapes back into this thing, and you're driving at the same time, and you're trying to like take a tape out and put a tape back in.
Oh yeah,
and like crushing your tape cases as you're trying to get them back in, and then you zip it up, and there's still big lumps because you couldn't get the tapes put back in right. Like it used to be so hard to listen to music.
Oh my God!
So I just like listen to the same. I just keep the same CD in my car or the tape or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember having one of the unwound records in my car just in the CD player for like 6 months because I just couldn't be bothered to switch CDs anymore.
It was a big part of I think of the listening experience is it's there. It's what's in the player. Yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't listen to everything. I had a tape player in an old car and Neil Young Harvest got stuck on there, and I became a massive Neil Young fan because of that. I went from liking the record to having it memorized to falling in love with it to just realizing the geniusness of it and him and everything he does. But I think it was probably those 6 months of having Harvest just in my car 24/7. I could either listen to the radio or Harvest. That was it. or nothing.
I love that. And it was like, someday I'm gonna get $100 to get my stereo fixed, and
Nope.
then it's just like, nah, that's never gonna happen.
Nope. The car only cost $500. Why would I spend $100
Right,
to fix the tape player? Nope.
right.
It was a good tape. I got lucky. That could have been green
Oh
Jello or
man,
something. Could have been something bad. I
green
don't know what
Jello.
else I had.
That's funny. I have a green Jello story. It's not there. It's not
Is it
very good
alleged?
though.
Don't know what is. They had that big studio. That was
This
the
one
other.
wasn't. Yeah, no. I went to that studio once because my friend was doing like a comic book thing,
Okay.
and yeah, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm having a meeting with this guy. You should come." And I went, and I was like, "Wait, this is the guy that did Green Jello? He has a 10,000 square foot studio slash art gallery slash whatever." And then he just told us. I don't think it was. He didn't give us a number of how much money he made, but that Little Pig song was like 4 times platinum or something insane.
Oh my
He
god.
basically hit that song funded a whole record, whatever record label it was on. Like it was on a major label. It was like Columbia or something,
Sure.
and it funded that label for like a year. That song made that much money.
That's insane. Insane. But
So crazy.
that studio was cool because they would do shows there. It became
Yeah.
like a venue eventually. I don't know if he still owned it or they sold
Yeah.
it or whatever it was, but it was like a venue for a while. I saw Animal Collective play there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I saw a couple shows at that place. Yeah, so funny. I feel like that was that early 2000s, right? Or kind of
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
that when there were a lot of warehouse shows.
Yeah. Well, in
There were a lot
Hollywood,
of big open spaces.
yeah, LA was still kind of in that spot of where everything, it was, sort of the down, depressed 90s, whatever, real estate bust,
Yeah.
whatever market correction happened then. So, there was a lot of space in like East Hollywood or downtown.
Yeah,
There
Echo
was not,
Park and
it wasn't crazy expensive. So
yeah.
people would have that.
I mean, I felt like that was always the like next year this place is going to blow up. And
Yeah.
it took 20 years.
Yeah. Well, that was the
Easily.
downtown story. It was like from
Yeah.
the late 80s through to the, late aughts. It was like, okay, this is it. Downtown's it's gonna be something. This guy's gonna build a
Yeah.
huge thing. It's gonna change everything. And
Yeah.
still, you go downtown and you're like, it's a little nicer, but it's not. I don't
Yeah.
think it ever did the thing that everyone promised it was gonna do.
No, still people don't really go down there. I
Right.
mean, spots, I guess it's block by block,
Yeah.
but LA is just too spread out for that. I think there's too many other opportunities for people to. It's not like New York where if you want to be close, there's like everything is already built from the ocean on one side to the ocean on the other side. So there's nowhere to go. So then people like stick around and fix things up and buy, live there.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in LA, it was like, well, I could come down here, but then I could have like a house with a yard, like 4 miles away. I think I'm going to do that. We're good with that. I don't want to be down here at night.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also the other problem too of like, well, people have to live somewhere, and meaning everybody, even the the unhoused population
Yeah.
or the people that
course.
work for the richies. So there's
Mhm.
this tough kind of, and like any major city has it, but I think LA is particularly like blind to this idea of the stratification of, if you're not rich, where do you live? There's
Yeah,
this,
right.
because I think so much of the cities and the laws and the ordinances are created by real estate developers. There's a
Right.
fine line between real estate developer and politician,
Yeah.
if any line at all. And so
That's
it's all
why
about
a lot of real estate developers try to become politicians as well.
yeah, or fund politicians, or create the sort of policy. But it just definitely feels like like people got to live somewhere, and so I think downtown has kind of been the scapegoat for so long, of the Skid Row, or sort of this,
Right.
it's almost like it's not the homeless population, the unhoused population, whatever it is, it's not a flaw, it's a feature in Los Angeles. You know what I mean? It's been created and sustained in the manner that it has by people who want it to be that way. It's not.
Yeah. There's a reason why there's still a warehouse district,
right?
Which is just open warehouses, and people don't live in a 10 or 15 square block area, but they live right outside of that area.
Yeah, it's like every warehouse is just waiting to become a condo kind of thing. But
Yeah.
But it doesn't. You need it for some reason. Did you see the 10 freeway through downtown has been closed for a week? There was
Because of the
fires.
fire.
There was fires
Yeah.
underneath it that compromised the pillars, and so the major
Yeah.
freeway through downtown has just been closed.
Yeah.
I mean, again, that's part of the side effects of that sort of not taking care of people and sort of just market. The market will correct itself. Like,
Yeah.
I think we need some kind of infrastructure
Yeah.
to.
Oh,
Anyway,
you mean that place where there's been like 500,000 old pallets
yes.
stacked under the freeway for at least the 20 years I've lived here and driven past that area all the time.
Pallet farm.
Oh, you mean that's a fire hazard?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
You didn't see that one coming? I mean, all of those crazy pallet places right there off the freeway are like, there's blocks and blocks of those things.
I mean, the firewood storage facility?
Firewood stacked.
Caught on fire? How did that happen?
That's weird. Strange. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we should just, let's dedicate this podcast to solving homelessness.
Yes.
The unhoused population.
And
we got about 5 more minutes.
And Leif Garrett.
Yeah.
Leif Garrett's alleged escapades.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, they should all just come live with you, Aaron. I think that's the answer. Bring them all up the mountain, right? I know.
Yeah.
I remember
tons of infrastructure to help people. Yeah.
Well, I definitely remember early tours, when I was a kid, young 20s, and being in places like Wyoming or Montana. I'm like, this country's fucking huge. Why are we all crowded around one fucking city? Why is everybody just duking it out to live in fucking LA? Like there's massive amounts of land. We're not running out of places to live. We're running out of places to live next to the ocean, I guess. But
and then you go there during the winter and you go, oh yeah, right. Okay. This is why everyone's crowding around LA.
Why is everybody ducking out to live in law? This is massive amount of land. We're running out of places to live next to the ocean, I guess.
Oh wow.
Check it out. By the way, if you have another request, you don't need to say Siri before you ask it.
Oh, we're always listening.
Siri. They are. Americans who don't like California. Why? Grand Prix, Texas education. The fight over California's ancient water. Well, that is interesting. The ancient water. Oh my God.
That's so funny. So wait,
robot
you don't have to say, hey Siri. So what? It just is listening for you to ask it questions?
Just any rhetorical question I may ask on live. Maybe this can become a new, we'll have a third host on the podcast. Just my government surveillance machine. Like, okay.
Thank you, Randy Randall. This is a great question that I would like to. Are we recording?
Yeah.
Please put me on speaker.
I know.
I would like to tell the world on your podcast.
Is there just a new AI like host we could just have on the podcast? Just like, I have a funny joke. Let me tell it to you now.
I mean, I think
remember
there's
the
probably
90s?
way more things written by AI in the news or whatever now than we would like to know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really like Google search just comes alive a little bit, right? Like Google search just kind of answers you instead of just
before you ask the question. It's like, I know what you're thinking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I keep getting things on like Instagram ads or whatever for like, are your knees hurting? Are your and I'm like,
if you ever put your birthday into any form, it just knows if you're born above a certain day, like start sending them the AARP ads.
Yeah. Like right after I start like playing tennis once a week.
No.
With Curtis.
I can hear the tennis ball thwacking. You're like, this fool will need
or I'm like, did I search
orthopedic surgeons?
Did I search for like tennis balls online? And then it cross-referenced that with my age. And then it cross-referenced that with like my health app and like how little I walk or something. And then went, he's definitely having knee problems. He probably needs Advil.
Amazing.
Ibuprofen.
Amazing.
I mean, it has to be. I'm getting all these stretching. I'm getting like these ads for like different stretching things and like make sure that you're working out your calves and your knees with this new product. I'm like,
oh my God.
Okay. Do you have tennis elbow?
It's anticipating the rebound, the body failures.
It just knows. But it really does show you how little we or how similar we all are depending on our like age and demographics and all of that, like they really can like throw ads your way, and 80% of the time they're going to be right on.
Yeah.
For whatever situation, like not knowing, not know, like they really only have to know about 5 things about your life and be like, okay, we got this guy pegged.
We're good. We got you here.
Yeah.
Here, we're gonna sign you up.
Do you
Oh my
also
gosh.
like the band Pavement? Question, yes or no? I'm like, oh, yeah, I
Advil?
kind of like Pavement.
Advil,
you get all the
Pavement,
ads for
orthopedic surgeon. If you like,
Exactly.
if you're a fan of Pavement, you would
Yes.
like Tylenol and and
Do you
Dr.
like-
Cotter's was non-invasive
Do you
orthopedic
like Pavement?
specialist.
You have a soft spot for Weezer, but still listen to Ice Cube every once in a while? Try this new
Oh my
Gatorade
God,
product.
yeah. Try walking on a treadmill for 5 minutes a day.
Yeah. You're probably about 12 to 18 pounds overweight. You think you're more active than you are, and you still try to play sports every once in a while.
Your
But it
hair
hurts.
is thinning. Here's an ad for hair treatments.
Yeah, exactly.
And your ears are probably ringing. So here's a tinnitus specialist as well.
Here's slightly looser pants than you would like to
Oh,
admit you need.
That's what the new
Yeah.
sponsor for the next Pavement reunion show. Pants that are slightly looser than you think they should be.
Well, and then I started getting ads for these shirts,
Oh,
like
God.
just regular T-shirts, and they're like, "Are you in between 2 sizes and your shirts? So the shirt that you
You
should
think
be
you should be
wearing is too
wearing
tight, but the shirt, the next size up is too loose and
Is it-
baggy. Well,
is
we
it-
have the shirts for you." And I was like, I was
No.
literally going through my closet thinking the same thing of like, my shirts just don't fit.
The
Is
one-
every dude that my size and demographic
Oh my
is
God.
going through the same thing? Probably.
The shirt you think you should be wearing too tight, and the one that you actually should be wearing insults you by by the amount of X's that are
Yeah.
before that L. Then here's the
Just
shirt for
go,
you.
Yeah. Have you
Oh.
bought too many shirts that are just still sitting brand new in your closet because you thought they would fit? Yep. You're like, you know what? This is gonna get me to really like do that extra exercise to fit into these shirts. Nope.
Oh,
Turns out
amazing.
it doesn't work. I
Oh,
still
well,
not.
I think we
I still
unlocked
do
a whole
not
new
have quite
sponsorship
enough.
thing. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna start reading ads, and we're gonna go from the
Yeah.
current sponsors to shirts that fit in between other shirts and pants that still look pretty good.
Yeah. This looks fine.
Like,
How often do you go clothes shopping
Yeah.
and go, yeah, this will look fine?
This show is brought to you by who are you really trying to impress? Clothes for men in their 40s.
Yeah.
I mean, face it, you've been married a while. It's cool.
Yeah.
The other guys
This
at Home
looks-
Depot will think, hey, that looks pretty sharp.
Yeah. Our new clothing company, good enough.
Good enough. Yeah, it works.
It's good enough.
It works.
fine.
Come on.
This will
Oh.
make it so people won't notice.
That's it. That's
You
the
just
better
don't want
name.
people to notice.
Just don't
Either
notice.
way,
Don't notice you.
doesn't look too bad, but it doesn't look too flashy. Just
Yeah.
make sure nobody notices your fashion.
Middle age blending in. That'll be next. That'll be next week's topic.
Go a year with nobody commenting on what you wear,
Yeah. Well, remember
one
when
way
people,
or the other.
Remember when people used to say, "Hey, you're looking good," to now they just say,
Yeah.
"Hey, look at you.
Yeah.
Hey, it's good to see you. I can see a
Hey,
lot of you.
great to see you. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Oh, hey, yeah.
I didn't recognize you.
Getting old, right? Hey, what are you gonna do, champ?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, oh no. I like your hair like that. It looks good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Wow.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So sounds like we're both getting the same ads.
I think so. Yeah. what things your father-in-law says when he sees you. That's more.
Yeah.
That's more what I'm dealing
Yeah.
with. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You just want to hear, wow, looking better than last time.
yeah. Hey, there you go.
Hey.
Well,
Wow,
it started off with things we say to our kids and the things our parents say to us. Come on.
Yeah.
You're getting old. What happens?
Yeah. Listen, time goes fast, man.
Yeah, that's what it is, right? Yeah, it goes from you're looking good to hey, aren't you glad you took all those pictures when you were younger? Yep.
Yeah, right.
You're doing it for the kids.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, I think that's a dark note
Yeah. It's a
to
good
go
way
out on.
It's
Yeah.
a good way to end it.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for sending in their list of things they hate. I appreciate that. Now the next challenge will be the list of things your parents-in-law tell you. Go ahead, hashtag shit my parents, my in-laws say. There you go.
Slightly offensive things that are true.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, hashtag yeah. Slightly offensive things that are true. Hey, just good enough clothes. So thanks for being the sponsor on this one. Appreciate it. And tune in next week to see who we will talk about next.
To see if our shirts fit correct.
Yeah. We'll have a shirt check-in. Like, pretty good, Yeah. Somehow it's bulgy around the middle. It's the shirt, not me. I don't know. Somewhere around the waistline, the shirt kind of looks like it's tighter down there.
They are not making shirts as comfortable as they used to. That is for sure. It's a big shirt.
It's the big shirt. Yeah, the lobbyist.
Big shirt.
The lobbyists trying to make you wear uncomfortable t-shirts.
Yeah, of course they make them wrong, right? So you have to buy so many more shirts. It's a conspiracy.
They keep shrinking. The more times you wash them, they just keep shrinking on you. I've had this shirt for 10 years, and it's way tighter now than it was. It's just been shrinking every time, little by little, every day. All right, man. This could go on.
The shirts keep getting bigger, and I stay the same size.
The shirts get smaller, and I stay the same size. That's what it is.
The shirts keep getting smaller.
All right.
The same size.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I will see you in 2 weeks. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Remember, in this holiday season, go to distrokid.com, native-instruments.com, and isotope.com, because you could save money if you go to those places and use our code RUIN10, RUIN10, and save some money on all your cool recording needs. Because why not? That'd be fun, right?
Yes, super fun.
I think that's in the ad copy. Just because you should. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Just go.
That's what the
fun.
kids are doing.
Yeah,
or the old guys.
Yeah, you'll have a lot of fun. Just go. Yeah. Make everything sound better. It'll be great. All right, man. I'll see you later.
All right. Later,
Bye. Bye.